clockwise direction, okay, and you're spinning. So this question, what is the difference between the effort force and the resistance force? I would like you to write that question, and I would like you to write an answer to it. So I'm going to leave, we haven't gotten to the 3 classes of levers, so I'm going to leave some space, and I'm going to write, what is the difference between the effort force and the resistance force? Okay, and I want you right now to take some time to put an answer there, okay? 2 sentences, 3 sentences, put something there that answers that, and we're going to go over it in class. We're going to keep reading so that we can come up with our 3 classes of levers. The distance between the forces and the fulcrum determines how easy or how hard it will be to use the lever. If the effort force is very close to the fulcrum, it will take a lot of force to use the lever. That means that if the little girl is sitting way up here, close to the fulcrum, it's going to take a lot more effort and a lot more force to be able to lift him. So the further away she is, the less force is needed. The farther the effort force is from the fulcrum, the easier it will be. The situation is reversed for the resistance force. The closer to the fulcrum, the easier the resistance force will be to move. So if he's sitting way up here, and he right now is pushing down. So let's pretend that he's the effort force. He's pushing down and he's trying to move her up. If she's way out here, it's going to be harder for him to move her up. If she's way in close like this, it's going to be easier for him to move her up. Okay? Likewise, the farther the resistance force is located from the fulcrum, the harder the lever will be to move. If your body is if a bone is the lever and the muscles apply the force, which part of your body is the fulcrum? The joints act as the fulcrum, the point around which the lever rotates. The connective tissues transfer the force of locations from bones to bones or from bones to muscles. Okay? A seesaw is one of 3 different types of levers. Each type of lever is situated or is suited for different tasks. The location of the fulcrum, load, and applied force determines the type of lever. Table 2 shows the 3 classes of levers. Okay, so I'm going to put up here that there's the 3 classes of levers. We still haven't seen or heard what the 3 classes are, but they did say down here that the seesaw is one of 3 types. Okay, I'm not going to write anything yet, but I do want to write that the location of the fulcrum, the load, and the applied force determines the type of lever. And I think that's really important. So I'm going to put the load, the fulcrum, and the force applied determines the lever type. Okay, and let's turn to table 2, which is here, and we're going to take a look at the 3 different types of levers. And so this is on page 371 in your book. I'm going to zoom out so that you can see the whole page, just like in your own textbook, which you should have in front of you. Okay, and so they're talking about the first class lever. So we have a first class. Okay, and I'm writing first class on my line. And it says the fulcrum is between the resistance force and the effort force in the first class lever. Okay, and so you're talking about a seesaw where you have the fulcrum and you have your different forces. You have a resistance force on one side and you have the effort force on the other side. Okay, and in our body, if you look at this picture, it says the first class lever reduces the strain on your neck muscles caused by the weight of your head. So your neck is that fulcrum, and the way your body is made, it's a kind of a seesaw motion that it's helped to reduce that weight, and so it shifts very easily. Okay, so that's a first class lever. That means the fulcrum is in the middle, and the resistance force is one side, and the effort force is on the other side. Okay, in a second class lever, let's look at the picture. They're saying that the fulcrum is on the end, okay? And the effort force is pushing up on the other end with the resistance force in the middle. So we want to draw ourselves a little picture like that. So we have our fulcrum down at one end, and we have, I'm going to bring it in so you can see it, okay? And then on the opposite end is the effort force pushing up, okay? And right in the middle would be the resistance, and the resistance is pushing down, okay? And so it's the location of the fulcrum and all of those other pieces that tell you what type of a lever it is. So if you look at our picture, we have a little girl pulling a suitcase. And so the fulcrum is actually the ground or the wheel in this case. And her effort force pulling up is the handle as she's pulling up with her arm. And the resistance force is the weight of this bag that's kind of in the middle, and it's kind of pulling it down towards the ground, okay? And now we're going to talk about a third class lever. I'm going to write third class. And let's take a look at our picture. Our picture shows us that you have the fulcrum on one end, but what has changed is the position of the effort force and the resistance. So in this case, the effort force is in the middle, pushing up, and the resistance force is at the end, pushing down. Okay, so let's draw a little picture. We have our fulcrum still at the end. And in this case, we have our effort force is pushing down. Okay, oh, sorry, effort force is pushing up. Okay, and our resistance is pushing down on the other opposite end. So the example that they give in your textbook is this shovel picture. And so if you look at it, the fulcrum again is like the dirt that was on the ground or the ground itself. And the effort force is the force that he needs. He's trying to lift that shovel up so that he can scoop with it. Okay, and the resistance force is the fact that it's heavy, and you can see his hand is down at the end, and that's kind of pushing down on the end of that handle to be able to lift up the dirt on the complete opposite end. And so your resistance force is pushing down against this effort force of trying to lift up that whole handle. Okay, so the position of your fulcrum is key, as well as the position of where your effort force is and your resistance force is. Now, what I would like you to do is, I want you to write down here, I want you to make another section. You've answered this question already. I want you to write first class in red, and I want you to see if you